Hi, today we're going to talk about the dryers that we use in the classroom. We kind of describe our dryers in two different categories, the force dryers and the softer dryers that aren't so forceful. The ones that I'm going to start with is probably the least frequently used one, which is the cage dryer. This one has hooks on it, and it does have some settings of hot, medium, and cool. We keep it on medium when we use this, and typically for about 10 minutes. Now we use this if it's the end of the period, a dog is still wet and just needs some additional drying after you leave. This is hung on the front of a cage like so. And then it is plugged in, set it for 10 minutes on medium, and that should be good. The only dogs this can never be used for are brachycephalic dogs, for example, bulldog or a pug. Our other non-forceful dryer, but this one we do use very frequently. This is called a handheld dryer, which looks familiar as the ones that you use at home. We use these ones on dogs' faces or for dogs that are fearful of loud noises because it's not as loud. The settings on it, it might differ per one that you're looking at, but you definitely never want it on hot or high typically, warm, low, and then we always tell students to use their hands as they're using this one to make sure it doesn't get too hot on their skin. So that could be a risk with this one. The last one we have that is not considered a force dryer is our stand dryer. This one does have a long arm. This one is not used too often, but it can be an assistant dryer. If you're drying a dog, you can set this one up next to you just as another means of blowing air on the dog to help dry it. We also use this one with our exercise pens so that we can continue drying a dog after the students have left. So that's probably what it's mostly utilized for. Our force dryers, we have two of them. This is called the Metro Force Dryer, and it does have Metro written on it as its brand. These are great dryers. They're kind of your go-to body dryers after a bath. The only risk to these is that they can actually hurt the dog's eyes and their eardrums. So you're never supposed to use these near the face or the head. They are loud, so noise averse dogs do not take to this one. When you start them, you always want to start them with a hand on them so they don't accidentally fall on the floor or leave the base on the floor when you start it. There is a low and a high setting. I will say the low setting is still very powerful. And when you use this one, we hold it close to the skin and we keep it moving. Please remember to always make your dogs stand up so that you don't forget to dry underneath of them. The last dryer that we have is another force dryer. We refer to this one as the box force dryer. You can see we have two tubs set up here. This one is for removing excess water off of the dog post-bath. Now typically we don't need to do that longer than about, honestly, a minute or so. There is a dial up here at the top and you slowly turn it on to make sure that the dog is okay with the noise. And if they are, you can proceed on the hind end of the dog and make sure that they're still not reacting too adversely. Blow the excess water off of the dog, turn it off, wrap a towel around your dog, and head back to the table. Please always be mindful of how your dog is reacting to the dryers because we might need to change our plans. And please always make sure you refer to your grooming sheets as they're gonna let you know if there's any no-go dryers on certain dogs that we've already discovered their triggers. Thank you.